Lekadou. We've seen her a few times here. Kathleen has been a member of our Toastmasters club since January 2012. She's working on the pathway entitled Persuasive Influence on the section of researching and presenting, while sharing her personal experience with being multilingual. She will incorporate a few educational facts. The title of her speech is My Progression with Languages. Let's welcome Kathleen Lekadou.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Morning, Kathleen.
My progression with languages. Now, my speech is not a metaverse, but there will be some visuals. I was born in Haiti, and I came to the United States when I was 8 months old. Now, according to, and also I only heard French and Creole that entire time. Now, according to the sounds of an article called The Sounds of Language, a baby can hear all the sounds of the world. That is 600 consonants and 200 vowels. But by the age of 6 months, they start reading out any sounds they don't hear. And by 12 months, they only focus on the sounds that they do hear. Now, since I came here at 8 months, that means I did not lose the sounds of the English language. Now, my mother still continued to speak to me only in French or Creole because she did not want me to pick up her broken English accent. So she felt that I would learn English better through the TV or through school. So at age 5, when I started kindergarten, I started to learn to read and write English. But then, now I progressed, and then something exciting happened when I was 8 years old. I got a book. My mother gave me this book, and you can see the picture on your table. It's of Babar and his family, Babar the Elephant. And I was excited about this book because it was written in French and English. This was the first time that I understood that my other language, French, can also be read, and it could also be written. So this inspired me to continue to want to learn and read French. Now, moving on, when I'm older, I started going to church with my aunt and uncle. It was a Catholic church, and the service was in French and Creole. Now, however, the booklet was in French, but the preacher preached in Creole. And so I wanted so much to learn the French that I would see what page my aunt and uncle were on, and then I would try to connect the sounds with what I was seeing. And so I would start with the page that said the Our Father because I knew the sound in French. So I would start on that page and then follow along. Eventually, I was able to start from beginning to end. So that's how I read it. But I still didn't know the grammar yet. Now, one day another exciting thing happened because all this time, Creole was an oral language, a spoken language. But one day in church, they started printing the songs in Creole. I'm like, oh wow, so now I get to read Creole too, this is exciting. And so I started reading both. Now, in high school, we had to choose a language. So I said, of course, I'll pick French because I want my easy A. But they gave me my second choice, which was Spanish. I was like, ah. But then I found it was easy because French and Spanish are part of the Romance languages, which means they have the same base, which means that they come from the European languages that evolved from the vulgar Latin. So it made it easy. And then also, I learned that there was a difference between the French and the Creole in the way it was written and spoken. oh, sorry, I'm going back. With the Spanish, my only regret in high school was that I did not take conversational Spanish. Otherwise, I would have been fluent by now. And then I noticed with the three languages, that there was a different amount of accents. For example, French has 5 accents, and Creole has 1, and Spanish has 3. And then I found that it was easier to write Creole. For example, Toastmaster Bonnie, how would you read this over here?
Oui.
Ooh, oui. Oui, right? And the bottom one?
Oui.
Oui. I think I'm right. So, because it used to drive me crazy, like, how do you get we from here? Then I realized, oh, it's a combination of letters. Whereas in Creole, you don't have to go through that. Whatever you hear, that's what you write. I hear we, so I hear W. I hear PH. I hear F. I put F, not PH. So, now, moving on, in 1987, the president of Haiti decided that all the kids in Haiti had to learn Creole, and their education was in Creole. Now, in 1988, I started teaching, and one of my classes that I taught happened to be in a bilingual education class, and it was to Haitian students. So I was excited about this. And this was the first time that I realized that Haitians also have different accents. Because my students would say, you sound like you're from Okap. And Okap is Cape Haitian, and that happened to be the region where I was born. So I realized that it doesn't matter where you are, whatever sounds you hear, those are the sounds that you will pick up. And later on, it prompted me to get a master's in bilingual education. And I noticed it helped me to answer one question, a question that I would have is, why are there some students that learn English quicker than others? And also, why is it that some students that within 5 or 6 months, they're speaking English, but academically they're not doing well? And it all is because of what is called BICS and CAL. So according to the Professional Learning Board, BICS means Basic Interpersonal Communication Skills, which is things like, hi, how are you? Can I play with you? What game is that? Conversations. But with CAL, this is Cognitive Academic Language Proficiency. So those are the language that you would need for reading from the textbook, things like chemistry, law, biology, things like that. And then, so now I notice that some kids were stronger in that. So it has helped me to appreciate language.
There you go.